Enjoy the show the Van Wezel way. Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Curtain Call Conversations, a Van Wezel podcast. I'm Muffy Lavens, the director of PR.
And I'm Justin Gomlak, the Director of Education and Community Engagement.
And we are hosting the very first episode of the Van Wezel podcast.
Da, 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 da.
And I don't know if you like that song better or if you liked our retro theme song that we found in the marketing drive. So we got to know how you feel about that theme song and if we should keep it.
Now, my personal opinion is there ain't nothing wrong with a little retro. The 90s, a lot of good things came out of the 90s. It's got a, it's got a kicky little vibe to it.
I mean, it's a total jingle. I can't say anything more than it's very...
Yeah, earworm, like
yes.
get right into your head. You're gonna be singing it all day long. Lucky you.
But yes, we want to know, so make sure you drop us a comment and let us know if we should keep it or if we continue this podcast, we should find something a little more updated.
I'll be interested to know.
Yeah. But because this is our first episode, we kind of want to give you a rundown of what's going to happen here. So we are going to have rotating hosts and different guests for the podcast because we really want you to get to know the staff at the Van Wezel. There are so many people who make this building work.
It's actually really amazing when you think about most people come here and they come to see a show. Okay, yeah, great, yay, clap, out the door. But the huge amount of work that goes into bringing those shows here in so many different departments. Mm-hmm. And so I'm so happy that we're doing this to be able to give our staff a chance to let people know what they do in service of this place that we love.
Yeah, and I mean, we all have so many different stories and different paths of how we got here. We've seen so many different shows. We all have different tastes, so it's going to be really fun when it comes to the time when we're talking with performers. When our technical department is here, they're hysterical.
And they're not afraid of a microphone.
No.
Right. Yeah. Neither are we.
No, it's true.
We're fine.
Yes.
But there really is behind the scenes a lot of really interesting things that go on here. So I'm thrilled, and I'm very happy to be here as your co-host on this very first episode.
Yes,
it's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun, and each show is going to have about 2 or 3 segments. We're going to kind of have the meat of a segment, and today for us, that's going to be Broadway.
Broadway!
We're going to talk about subscriptions and why you want to get those, but then we're also going to have a little bit of fun, too. We're always going to end this podcast with a little fun segment, and we're going to, show our expertise in the arts and entertainment field. We're going to kind of bring in some people from town, different performers, some different news, so that we can really share what arts and culture is outside of the Van Wezel too.
Another fun fact, there are many people on the Van Wezel staff that have had very robust careers in other places, like Muffy Lavens, for example. I know I'm totally putting you on the spot.
That's okay.
But you had a really incredible career as a figure skater.
Yeah.
In the competitive world.
Yes.
I mean, see, she's not just a gorgeous face here on this camera and on this microphone. She's got serious skills, and yeah, it'll be fun for us to kind of peel back the layers and learn some things about some people.
Yes, and you'll get to see and hear from people you don't normally. I know many of you, if you're turning on ABC or pulling out the Herald Tribune, you're going to have seen Justin, you're going to see me, you're going to see Mary Wezel, our executive director, but you haven't seen Tom, our graphic designer, you haven't seen Nate, our technical director, so you're going to get to meet a whole lot of people on the staff and learn a lot.
That's great.
Well, why don't we dive into the topic of the hour, and that is Broadway subscriptions.
Something that I know a little bit about.
Yes.
Well, not the subscription part as much, but the Broadway part.
Yes.
I certainly can talk to you about all these shows that we have coming. It's good. It's a really exciting season. Mary Wezel and Kyle Turoff are booking, are in charge of all of the booking for these shows. They do this work years in advance. Literally, they already have next seasons planned, and just the huge variety.
Yes.
And I will tell you that the puzzle that goes into them trying to get all of the shows that they want in the right places at the right time, and where's the show, where, it's an incredible puzzle that they've solved beautifully for this season.
They have, and we have some incredible shows like MJ the Musical, which is still on Broadway. So that's amazing that we're getting, a show that's such a staple there. Neil Diamond's show, A Beautiful Noise, that's going to be incredible to have with our audiences. And Some Like It Hot is one of my favorites, and I can't wait to see that tap dancing on the Van Wezel stage.
The person who directed that is Casey Nicola, and he and I did Seussical the Musical together many, many years ago. We sat next to each other in the dressing room. But the way that he thinks about storytelling and the way that he creates theater is so connected to what makes people full of joy. It is joyful, it is clever, it is smart, and I have no doubt that this version of Some Like It Hot is going to be just toe tapping and fantastic to watch. It's really that's my that one and MJ are my two favorite, the ones that I'm looking forward to the most to see, because they're both very current and modern and thoughtful productions.
Yeah. You know what show I'm looking forward to seeing?
What one?
The Grinch.
Yeah.
That show has been around for a long time, but I have not seen it. And it is actually the first time we're getting it in Sarasota. So it'll be a lot of fun to have this kind of family-friendly Broadway show to kick off the season.
Well, as your director of education, nothing could make me happier than a family-friendly show. And that show, The Grinch is just is so near and dear to so many people. Mary Bensel tells a story about her 4-year-old nephew who is obsessed with him. So no matter how old you are, from Mary Bensel to her 4-year-old nephew, there's something about that guy, that Grinch guy. And aren't we we're gonna have a live Grinch around here too, right?
Yes.
Roaming around the city for a little bit.
And maybe we'll get him on the podcast.
Something tells me he might have something to say.
Just maybe. But right there, we have talked about 4 amazing shows coming as part of the Broadway package. And do you know what? You only need 4 shows to build a subscription.
For a subscription. You don't have to buy all the shows.
No.
It'd be great if you did, but you
Yes.
don't have to. You can pick and choose, right? You literally, what 4 do you want? And that's where you can start.
Yes.
And aren't there all sorts of special things that come along with being a subscriber?
Yes.
Not just in this season, but in following seasons. Right, because you get first in line for the choices of tickets. When I believe when we're filling the subscriptions, the people who have had subscriptions before are at the front of the line.
That is absolutely accurate. So yes, if you are a subscriber, you're going to be the first to find out about the 26-27 season, which we know Mary and Kyle are putting together a fantastic season.
I can't even believe how exciting next season is. I know we're talking about this coming season, but next one, wait, it's gonna be amazing.
So subscribers are the first to find out about that. Depending on how many shows you're putting into your package, you're going to get discounts on those, up to 20% if you go for all 10 shows. You also get to add on shows before they go on sale to the general public. So we have Choir of Man as one of those add-ons. All of the Neil Berg shows, whether you want to see 50 years of rock and roll or 100 years of Hollywood,
which is
his
a
newest
new one, right?
Yeah.
And of course, there's the Broadway one.
Of course.
All of those Neil Berg shows are a big hit here at the Van Wezel. So you get kind of first in line for all of these opportunities.
Yes, and you also have a hassle-free ticket exchange. So we know we're asking you to commit to a Broadway subscription sometimes almost a year before the show even gets here, and you don't know what you're doing in April of 26. Well, as a subscriber, you can call up the box office and say, hey, I bought tickets for the Saturday show, but now I need the Sunday show, and they'll be able to move you for that hassle-free to a similar seating location. You may not get the exact same seat, but as long as tickets are available, they will happily move you as a subscriber.
I do also know that the best seats in the house go very quickly, and they're usually snapped up by all of the subscribers. So if you really are a person that wants to sit in that golden circle in that A section, the best way to get there is by being a subscriber.
Yeah. And if you're not quite sure you're ready to make that commitment yet, again, start with 4. I've met plenty of people who found 4 shows that they wanted to go to, and they built that subscription, and then the next year they moved up to 6 because they had such a great time, they had such great seats, they enjoyed all the perks, so they were ready to commit to even more.
I'm a person that puts things in my calendar way ahead of time, and for me, that's if I got four shows to our season, that's 4 date nights that I know are coming up, and so I can build my social calendar around those.
Yes, and what's great with this season is we have a lot of variety. You have those more like biopic type shows with MJ and Neil Diamond, but then you also have the family friendly ones like Grinch, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Music Man. You've got comedy with Book of Mormon. There's so many different aspects to this year's season that everyone should easily be able to find a few shows they want to go to.
For sure. That is one thing that I'm always very impressed with, is that variety that Mary and Kyle find in
Yes.
our programming. You know, you're not going to like everything, but you're gonna like something for sure.
Absolutely.
And hopefully you're gonna like at least 4 Broadway shows that we're offering to get a subscription.
Yeah. So there's plenty of exciting things coming down the pipeline. Our Broadway season kicks off in November with The Grinch, and it will end in April with Mrs. Doubtfire.
I don't know if this is a correct statement or not, but since I've been here, we have not had really a Christmas-themed musical at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's a fairly rare thing for us. So, why not start your Broadway season here at the Van Wezel in the holiday
spirit.
season?
Yes.
Exactly.
So let's move into our In the News segment. Still related to Broadway, because Broadway's a little up in arms right now in New York because Caesars Entertainment is looking to bring a casino in to Broadway.
To Times Square.
To Times Square, smack dab right with the Lion King. As a former Broadway performer, how do you feel about this?
I have thoughts. I have thoughts. New York is really special in a lot of ways. Obviously, this is a biased statement.
Yeah.
But people come to New York for the vibrancy of what happens on the streets and the culture that seeps out of every pore, right? And Broadway is a huge, huge part of that. It's a giant economic generator for the city of New York City.
Yeah.
And I just don't know that it needs another kind of a generator. Like, if you want to go gamble, go to Vegas. Go to
Atlantic City.
Go to Atlantic City. It's just down the street practically.
Right.
So why do we need that there?
Right.
There's actually a Foxwoods Casino, which is in Connecticut, is really close by, but to put it right there in the middle of what feels very sacred to me as far as artistic ground, it's demeaning. I don't know. It just feels like it's going to bring in a whole different set of people to that space. And I don't know, it's not a better or worse set of people, but it's just a different set of people that aren't necessarily prioritizing what makes New York, New York.
Right.
Which is this Broadway thing.
I agree, and you're definitely not alone, because the Broadway League, the IATSE Stagehand Union, so many theaters in the town, and so many of the organizations in Times Square have come together
to say no, thank you.
Exactly. And I kind of get where, 3 years ago when this was first proposed and New York State was like, yeah, let's go ahead, because we were coming out of COVID. Broadway was struggling. It was can we regenerate? But Broadway just had a record-breaking season post-pandemic that was phenomenal and amazing shows. I mean, watching the Tony Awards, there were some categories I was like, every single one of them could win, and I would be okay with that because they were all a stacked season of shows.
Well,
So
I mean,
you
the
don't need
quality,
another piece of entertainment.
No, and the quality is astounding. And it's just, it's kind of that thing where they legalized marijuana in the state of New York, and so there are lots of pot pot shops all over the place in the downtown area, and that has shifted some of the feeling of what Times Square used to feel like.
Yes.
In that same way, you put a casino there, it's going to shift it even further, and it feels like it would be the wrong direction. It's shifting it to something like, again, go to Atlantic City if you want to play the slots or what is that? Hit me with poker. I don't know.
Yes,
not
poker,
a gambler.
Texas Hold'em.
But yeah, do we need it? Like, but your point is absolutely right. Like a couple of years back, where New York was very much struggling, it got hit very hard in the first part of the pandemic, and it seemed like maybe a solution at the time, but we bounced back.
Right. And we always know Broadway's going to bounce back.
Yeah.
Everyone has an appetite for live entertainment.
It also is such a quintessentially American art form. It was created here.
Yep.
It was perfected here, and it is done at the highest levels of the career field here in New York. Well, there in New York, but here in America.
Yes.
So it is ours. It's American, and to think like, oh, Broadway's dead. Broadway ain't dying.
No.
It's like as American as jazz.
Yeah.
And as diverse as an art form as you can have these days.
Yeah.
We're very resilient. We're very adaptable, and as tastes and styles change, so will Broadway.
Right.
So Broadway ain't dying.
No.
You don't need to help it. Go away.
Yes, well, and so many people came together on June 25th to kind of fight against this, met at the Red Stairs in Times Square. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how this plays out, because there is definitely a lot of fight happening against it. Playbill posted an article recently about kind of the opposition and Caesar's, trying to get people on board, which we can link in the show notes, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the argument for why New York needs it.
Or even why Times Square.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to put it in New York, fine, but
Sure, yeah.
why Times Square?
Right. It's expensive real estate, and Caesars can afford it. So
Yes.
maybe that's one of the things. It's like, well, we can afford to kind of take this on, but I don't think we need it.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, there's my 4 cents.
Gonna put it in the slots.
Right. My nickel. Dink.
All right, so we promised that we were going to end every episode with something fun. So our little fun segment today is going to be our top 3 from last season.
Ooh, top 3 from last season.
Yes, so any moment that you had at the Van Wezel that you think was a top 3 moment for you, for us, what were those moments that made last season so special?
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
So I did some shows in my life, and a really fun thing for me when I'm working here in this completely different job is when I see folks that I've worked with before in other shows that are still doing it, they're still touring, or they're still performing, and a pal of mine that he and I did the Shrek tour together. His name is David Foley Jr., and he was in Funny Girl.
Yes.
And when when Funny Girl came through, and I saw David Foley, and we went out and we had lunch, and then he said, "Oh, my wife and my kid are coming." Like, when I worked with him, his wife, they didn't have a kid. So I was like, I'm thinking in my brain, oh yeah, a little kid, and in walks this teenager, because it's been a minute or two since we did that a long time ago. So seeing David Foley, that's number 1. Number 2, I stood off stage in the wings in the dark, about 10 feet from Yo-Yo Ma, and he was doing. It wasn't a show. It was actually the dress rehearsal.
Okay, I was gonna say, and that was the Sarasota Orchestra, right?
No.
Oh.
It was maybe it was the Concert Society. I'm not sure
It was one of our partners.
It was one of our partners, yes.
Yeah.
But he wasn't really playing. It wasn't like a concert as much as it was him talking, and then he played a little, but he would mostly do some talking and like it was like a little bit of back and forth, just him. And I was running an errand elsewhere, and it was sound check. So he was there running his show, and I stood back there for a little bit, just watching this legend, and I thought to myself, I'm like, my gosh, this is my job. I get to be this close to greatness, and watching that incredible person work and perfect what he was getting ready to do for the audience. So watching Mr. Ma do his thing, and then I have to say, I was so delighted by the entire production of Beetlejuice. I did not know the show beforehand, so I was going in cold. I mean, I knew the movie of course, but I didn't know the Broadway musical. And so I sat in that audience and was just delighted. It was an excellent production with incredible actors, but also the show, it was so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And I'm usually a really bad audience member. I don't love a lot of things. I just look at things with a different kind of set of eyes.
Right, you've been in the productions, you have a different look than just sit and enjoy and soak it all in. You look at it with a different eye.
I really do. But this show was it was so excellent at the outset. I was able to relax and then just let the show be the show and enjoy the show in the way that an audience member should enjoy the show.
Right.
And it was just a real delight. I loved it.
Oh,
so those
good.
are my top 3.
I love it.
What about you?
All right, I'm going to go in reverse order.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to start with number 3. And this is, any marketing professional will know websites can be amazing or a pain point. And this season, we launched our brand new website. And it was a year in the making. And functionally, our old website for the user was fine. The back end for us trying to update for shows was always such a headache. So the fact that we were able to create a brand new website this year that is functional for both our patrons and our marketing staff was amazing.
And you did a beautiful job with it.
Thank you. Yes, so I'm very proud of the new website, and that was definitely a milestone, exciting moment that happened for us at the Hall.
Number 3. All right,
yes.
number 2.
Number 2 is going to be opening post-hurricane with Menopause the Musical 2, because we had 2 sold-out performances. This place was packed, and you could feel the excitement from all of our patrons returning and seeing the new space in the grand foyer with the changed floors, and just knowing how hard we worked in those 3 months to get this open. I mean, it's one of the few times I think I've actually had, ABC7 cameras here the day of a show with people coming in and talking to the patrons about what it was like to be back open. And just opening with such a fun, silly show was another really great part.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this community really does come together.
Yeah.
In the I can digress, but I won't. We're up to number 1.
Number 1, it's going to be Beetlejuice for me too.
Yay!
That was a show that I had wanted to see on Broadway so bad. I was one of those people obsessed with it on TikTok too, and then it was closing, and then had its resurgence, was able to go out on the road, was breaking box office records on the road. Finally got to see it, loved every moment of it, and loved working with the performers. They were great. They were doing tons of media for me. We had them all over town, and they were just such amazing people. So getting to know them and then watching them was incredible, and I am so thrilled for them to all be back on Broadway with this show, because it's going back.
I know, that is so exciting. And it's that cast that
Yes.
is actually going to be going back to Broadway.
Yeah.
That's thrilling for them.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened. That they were just like, yep, the world still wants the same production of Beetlejuice. Let's bring it back.
I guess so.
All right. Is it an open-ended run, or is it just a stop for a little while? Do we know? Is it does it continue on tour?
I don't know. I'm sure
Inquiring
our friends,
minds want to know.
I know. I'm sure our friends at Broadway World or Playbill will give us that information.
Right.
All right. Well, we have made it to the end of this first episode of Curtain Call Conversations.
The time has flown by.
I know.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy you were here.
I'm
with
very
me.
happy that you were here with me. Yes.
Yes, so good. And if you guys had fun hanging out with us today and listening to this episode, be sure you rate, review, and hit that subscribe button so that you know when our next episode comes out. These should be out about every 2 weeks, and we're going to have entirely different topics every time and different people. So you're definitely going to want to continue to listen and hear so many different stories.
It's never a dull moment here at the Van
It
Wezel
is
Performing
not.
Arts Hall, especially as we get running through our season. There's going to be plenty for us to talk about, for sure.
Yes, and I know we'll get some performers to join us, and that'll be really fun to hear kind of their insights of touring and coming through the fabulous Purple Building here in Sarasota Bay.
That's right. We're legendary.
Yes, and if you want to share your top 3 moments from last season like Justin and I did, be sure to drop that in the comments or follow us on social and let us know there. And we will be back in 2 weeks with another episode.
We'll see you then.